Have you ever wondered why we sometimes work together seamlessly and other times clash so intensely? Well, understanding the dynamics of competition, conflict, and cooperation is key to unlocking one of these complexities of human interaction. So, in this chapter, we're going to start with explaining the terms, conceptualizing competition, conflict, and cooperation. We'll look at some of the reasons why people engage in competition and conflict. We'll then look at the social dilemmas and their impact on these factors. We'll then move into understanding some of the factors that influence cooperation and wrap up with understanding and applying strategies to increase cooperation. So in section 1, we'll conceptualize these terms. And though the textbook uses the COVID-19 pandemic to conceptualize these terms for this chapter, I like to use film series those that are many of us are familiar with. So take a look at this clip shared here. This is a clip from the film The Hunger Games. And so consider things like, have you ever watched a reality show where contestants push themselves to the limit, they strategize ruthlessly, and ultimately only one walks away victorious? Now imagine if the stakes were even higher and if the prize was survival itself, such as in the film The Hunger Games. Now, although fictional, the Hunger Games series presents a powerful thought experiment. How would we react in a similar situation? Well, firstly, the core premise of the Hunger Games is forced life or death competition. Tributes from different districts are pitted against each other, highlighting the extreme lengths people will go to when survival is at stake. This competition drives the entire narrative, shaping character decisions and revealing their true nature. And as the text points out, The Hunger Games, although fictional, forces us to ask, how would we react in similar situations? Competition is ingrained in our society. Think about things like striving for good grades or a good job and even recognition. But when the stakes are real, when the game involves real life consequences, understanding our motivations and navigating social dynamics becomes crucial. So much like Katniss, we face competitive situations. But are we driven by a desire to prove ourselves, fear of failure, or external pressures? And so understanding the Hunger Games allows us to explore the psychology of competition, not just about, winning, but how we play. Do we resort to cutthroat tactics or find ways to cooperate strategically? The choices have emotional and ethical implications. Secondly, conflict is a constant presence. It's not just a physical conflict in the arena, it's multifaceted. We see external conflict between the oppressive capital and the rebellious districts, the interpersonal conflict between the tributes themselves, and the internal conflict characters face as they grapple with moral choices and personal struggles. This conflict creates tension and propels the story forward. However, even in this brutal environment, cooperation emerges. Despite the intense competition and conflict, we see instances where tributes form alliances, share resources, and offer support to one another. And this highlights that even in the most dire situations, cooperation can be a crucial survival strategy. So, as our material emphasizes, this fictional example helps us to see how these three concepts are deeply connected. And checking out this graphic here, the Perkins 3 conflict continuum, visually it represents this dynamic. You can see how competition and conflict and cooperation are all interconnected. Conflict can reinforce itself, escalating the situation, but there's also the potential for balancing or de-escalation through cooperation. And understanding this interplay is key to analyzing human behavior and even the Hunger Games. Ultimately, the film series, as a thought experiment, allows us to understand how we would navigate these complex dynamics in our own lives, choosing to compete with both ambition and or empathy.